Hey, what's up? Welcome to Distortion Report. I am Johnny McBee.
It's your boy Hardcore KEEM.
Today is 11/17 of 2022. We are going to go over the past week of what has happened in the world of heavy music, and make sure you follow the YouTube, the Spotify, whatever platform you're listening on. And we appreciate you being here in the start of this show. This is the first official episode of Distortion Report, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. And so what we're going to do, we have one topic we're going to start with, and then after that topic, we're going to do 5 news stories. Keep it quick for you guys, but give our opinions on all of this. So let's get into the first topic. And I thought it was pretty fitting for, us. And so we're going to talk about what's the proper way to mosh.
All right, I'll start this off. I don't mean to cut you off like Kanye, but listen, if you push pit, none of that push pit, I absolutely hate that. That's not moshing. I don't know why that's considered a form of moshing. If you just, even the circle pit is borderline. Okay, I don't even really like that.
The reason KEEM is so opposed to push pits is because he's so much smaller than everyone else. He's so much smaller than everyone else. You know, there's that one like 350-pound dude in the pit, and the second he walks up to KEEM and is looking down at the top of KEEM's head, KEEM gets very scared.
Hey, that's why I just do straight karate. Like, if you're not doing karate, if you're not showing off your moves, if you're not showing off your skill set of what you do in the bedroom, like myself, then there's no point. Like, if you're just running in a circle or just pushing, there's no skill set to it. It's aimless. Anybody can do it, and there's injuries.
So there's no injuries with hardcore dancing.
Nope.
According to Hardcore KEEM, 0 injuries.
0 injuries.
Yeah. And so I think that the point is that everyone can push pit, and there is actually way less injuries. Trust me. When the Browning first started, it was there was always fights. There was always like us having to stop because the crowd's freaking out because someone has a broken nose. That does not happen with push pits. There's barely any fights.
Until a 5'2" gets pushed over and trampled.
KEEM just doxed himself.
No, I'm not 5'2". I'm not 5'2".
KEEM just admitted he's 5'2".
If I was 5'2", I would never admit I'm 5'2".
But what happens in a hardcore pit? Right? If someone's girlfriend gets hit right in the back of the head,
she shouldn't be in the pit. She should be in that area. Listen, if you've been going to shows for a while, you know the safe areas and you know the danger areas. Go to the back. Just, if you're here to enjoy the show, go all the way to the front. You will get pushed a little bit, or go to the sides. The sides are the safest, or go all the way to the back. But if you have a seeing problem, go a little bit closer to the front. But that middle section is the danger area. It's just the danger area, and the whole ring, the whole inner ring too. That's also dangerous because people like to bounce off the crowd.
I don't know. I'm thinking that I don't know how many hardcore pits you've seen. Even though you got it in your title, but it's you see the people running back and forth, smashing the people on the side. And then they run up to the front and just start freaking clocking people in the top of their head.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you
can't stand in the front. You can't stand in the side. If you're standing at the back, then someone's donkey kicking you. Like, there's nowhere that's safe. You have to be like 5 rows away from that pit.
Those what you call crowd killers or targeters.
So how do you feel about crowd killers?
So listen, I'm all for safe crowd killing. Like two buddies crowd killing each other. Absolutely. But if you're out there targeting, you got to get dealt with. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. That's just I may knock you up a little bit.
So I'm going with that push pits 100% the way, 1,000,000% the way, because also, I will admit though, whenever the Browning first started and hardcore dancing was like the thing that everyone did, it was kind of cool to look out and see like 20 people swinging. Like that is cool. It's a cool sight, but it also created such a bad environment to where it's like, say we played Albany, New York, right? New York pits go like super hard, like insanely hard. And so you know what happens when you play a small venue in Albany, New York? there is no one standing at the front of that stage. The people that want to watch the show are standing at the back of the room, and then you got 4 people standing at the front that are moshing as hard as they can and swinging, and no one wants to get within 20 feet of them. So you're standing there on stage 15 foot away from the crowd because you got 4 people that want to mosh. Like, that doesn't feel good. Like, you know, if it's a big crowd and a lot of people are moshing like that, then it's sick. But if it's small shows, it makes it really awkward because the couple that drove 6 hours from the middle of Canada to come see your show has to stand in the back of the room rather than stand in the front.
Hey, life ain't fair. You got to deal with the card. Hey, those the cards you've been dealt. You either take it, take a sucker punch. Listen, I think everybody once in their life needs to take at least one sucker punch. You know what I'm saying? It toughens you. It makes, you know, this world is already soft, so get hard.
Okay, freaking
Kevin
Kevin Hart.
Right, quote that.
Yeah, and so and I'm saying Kevin Hart because the Get Hard movie.
Get Hard movie, yeah.
Yeah, okay, and you're short. So,
double entendre. What is that?
I don't know what that is. I mean, maybe the problem is that you have to have it to where the crowd's at the back, because if anyone's in front of you, you can't see the stage. You know?
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And so, no, but the one thing that, like, push moshing is cool. It gets the whole crowd moving. That's what I love about it. Like, in a hardcore pit, you have like 10 people that are going hard, but in a push pit, you get everyone moving because, you know, everyone can sit there and shove each other. Like, I'm all about mass crowd participation. I don't want 5 people that go hard. I want everyone getting shoved. I want everyone moving, you know? So
with that, like at our shows, like a majority of the crowd, they'll headbanging.
Hey, I love that too.
I love that. That I absolutely love because it's unison. They'll like put your arm around it and they're just headbang together. You know, that's
what I used to do in one of our parts on our song Black Hole. It was like a big build up into a big techno part. And I would say, put your arm around the person next to you. And then the whole crowd bounce like with the arms around each other. But that's like post COVID, I was like, I don't know if I can.
We need to bring that song back.
People to touch people. And, but yeah, one cool thing about like synchronized headbangs, if you guys haven't watched any videos of metal shows from Japan or China, like that's all the crowd does. They literally just want to stand there and synchronize headbang like the whole time. And so whenever we toured in China, it was literally like 200 people completely in sync, just freaking huge rocking headbangs. It was sick. I'm all about that.
That's super sick.
Yeah.
No push pits, headbang, just headbang.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you got to think about it. They might not be as violent as someone like you, so they just want to have a good time and bang their head.
I got a short fuse.
Yeah, so what's with your pent up anger? Why is this like what got you into hardcore dancing? What was the first time you're like you went to a show and you saw someone doing that and you're like, you know what? That guy doesn't look like an idiot. He looks really cool. I want to do that.
So it was actually the first show I went to. Like I never even seen what mosh pits was until like my first show. It was like August Burns Red Texas in July. It's like a Let Live, Silverstein.
And people were hardcore dancing to Silverstein. Shoot.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is what Texas in July went on. And like, it was like pitting, going hard. I'm like, yo, like these white people are crazy. And I thought it was like a brawl or like a riot. So like I just started hitting people. That was and like people didn't like that. So like I got choked up by this really tall dude.
Keem wasn't even moshing. Everyone was like they have their own little bubble that they can swing their arms in. Keem just started walking up punching people in the kidneys. Yeah,
that's because I went into survival mode at that point. I was like, oh, it's kill or be killed. So like I saw people like throw it, like, you know, doing karate in a pit. And I was like, oh, slap, like this is for real. So I was like, all right, let me start swinging. That wasn't the right thing to do. And I was like, oh, okay. And when I went up in the balcony and watched people, I was like, oh, that looks really cool. So that was my.
I mean, it was cool back in the day, but I'm glad that it's kind of evolved away from it. Like, I couldn't stand at Browning shows. Like, you're at a techno metal band concert. You don't need to punch someone in their face currently. Like, we're just trying to hang out and jam and dance. Like, there are certain places where I think it makes sense. Like when you watch like those big hardcore festivals, and everyone is doing it, and the front of the crowd is, they're not standing there because everyone's stage diving. They want to give everyone space to do their thing. That's fine. Like if you're going to like a straight up hardcore show, then yeah, do it. Beat the crap out of each other because that's why everyone's there. But if you're at I don't know, like a mainstream kind of metal band, if you're at a Fit for a King show, you shouldn't be punch people in the back of their head, in my opinion.
You got a point there.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
There's a time and place for everything. There's a time and place for everything.
I give you that point.
Yeah. And I mean, but I appreciate anyone that's getting into it. But it does suck to play a sick show and then you walk out and then like, someone had to go to the hospital because they got cracked, but that does happen in push pits too. It does happen.
Exactly. But people love those stories.
The one thing I think is super cringy about push pits is when there's just like two guys that are just like shouldering each other.
Oh my God. You know what I mean? Or they like grab arms and just swing in a circle. That is so cringe. I hate that.
Like they'll go back and they'll like tap their shoulder and be like, yeah, come on. And then they'll each other. And
they're like the only one doing it. It's so cringe. And
it looks like it hurts. Like straight up, I don't want to shoulder someone like that, like at all. Now you haven't been to Europe yet, but the European pits, they do some weird crap. They all sit down on the ground and act like they're rowing.
Oh, they do the rowboat thing. I see that in the video.
Yeah, they love doing that crap. They do weird stuff in Europe.
It's like, all right.
And one thing Europeans also do is they will jump on that stage and never get off.
They'll just stand there the whole time.
Yeah, the amount of people I've had to like 300 Sparta kick off the stage, like, yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if we necessarily came to a conclusion on what the proper way to mosh is, but there's a time and place for everything. I prefer push pits. And you prefer hardcore dancing, and that's okay. We can have differing opinions. That's the beauty of it. Right?
We let them decide. What is best for the
I'll see you in the pit.
Right. Next show, me and you going to do the shoulder thing on stage. That song. Just for the lulz.
Okay. Sure. You know what? This is a good point, though, because Colin, our old guitarist and bassist, he was also a hardcore dancer. And one time on stage, he threw one back, hit me right in my throat when I was in the middle of singing.
Dang. Did your voice crack after?
I'm just doing my thing, and then right in my freaking throat. It was bad. So no hardcore dancing on stage. Can we agree to that?
No, because sometimes I be swinging. Like you see me be swinging sometimes, though.
Right.
But I do it in my corner, though. But yeah.
We'll agree to disagree.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're friends.
We're the F word?
Yes. We're the big F word. All right. Let's get over to our 5 headlines for the week.
Before we get into the 5 headlines, give Distortion Report a follow. And if you're on Spotify, give it a 5-star ratings. Now, let's get into the Grammys.
All right. So the Grammys, it's always kind of it's cool to see bands getting nominated that are like in our realm. But this year, it's kind of weird. Definitely a bit weird of the people that are on there. And I mean, there's Ozzy Osbourne getting one nomination, Megadeth getting one nomination. That's fine. The ones that got me a little turned, I guess, Turnstile, Muse, and Ghost. I mean, it's cool that they're getting nominated for Best Metal Song and Performance, but it's just a bit weird. Like, where are we drawing the line of what's metal and what's not metal? And how are these bands being nominated as Best Metal Performance? Like, aren't there better options that better represent what metal is?
Oh, way better options, but I don't know how Turnstile on the list, but shout out to them though. I mean, they coming from, our sector, so
that's the thing. They in the early stuff they were like a hardcore band, and their style, like I just saw some live videos of them, of their recent tour. Absolutely killing it. A ton of people, and the crowd is moshing. But like, so is metal now considered like a mentality rather than like a particular sound? Like, none of those three bands I just mentioned, Turnstile, Muse, and Ghost, have like extreme vocals. You know,
Yep.
I feel like that is a base of what metal is how extreme are the vocals. I
think that's like the baseline. It's that's the start. You know what I'm saying? When you hear metal, is you hear like the range or the different unique style of how the vocalist sings the song. But
right.
It's, I ain't gonna lie, I can do Turnstile. I can be the vocalist of Turnstile. I can, you know.
I mean, it's good stuff. It has energy, but it's not metal. Like even when you compare it to like Megadeth, that dude's just singing, but he has some grit. It has like, and they're classic. You know, it has a metal tonality. Straight up, some of Turnstile stuff sounds like Beastie Boys, or you know, it sounds like I don't know, like. It almost sounds like pop music half the time.
Yeah,
which is fine, but it should not be in the metal category. Now, Muse, same sort of deal. They're like a rock band, a rock pop band.
I love Muse, but
I love Muse. I think they're one of the best bands ever.
Muse to me is kind of like their newest. It's kind of like Imagine Dragons. You know what I'm saying? I'll put them in the same, or like Coldplay. They're like in the same field now. They're in the same playing field. And I love Muse, but it's I don't know, it's just weird. It's really weird. And Ghost,
you love Ghost, don't you? You love it.
Absolutely not. But it's
now Ghost does tinge more towards being considered like kind of old school. They're like a more modern band that has an old school metal tonality, but still, I would absolutely strictly put them in the rock category.
Yeah.
Like, how is metal not like, at least like Trivium or, you know, stuff like that, you know, in that realm, like Trivium, Hatebreed, even the bigger stuff, Killswitch Engage. Like, how is that stuff not in the realm? And we've had some of the biggest modern metal albums come out this year of up and coming bands. How is Spiritbox not on Best Metal Performance? How is Lorna Shore not on Best Metal Performance? How are those bands up and coming stuff? Why are we giving Best Metal Performance to these rock pop groups straight up instead of like up and coming metal bands? Why is the Grammys not giving light to an actual whole genre?
I honestly think because it's the Grammys. Like when you think about it, it's a business. It's a corporate. It's like a corporate thing. And when you think about it, they control what they want you to hear. So that's like saying them putting like a group like Lorna Shore in the Grammys. Yeah, Will's vocals is extreme. You know what I'm saying?
But we are in a realm now where there is way more accessible metal, like Fit for a King, like even Spiritbox. Like a lot of their stuff is mainly singing. Or what about like I Prevail? They have some straight up pop stuff, but they still have some screams, like breakdowns, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like we have some big bands that should absolutely be nominated for some metal stuff, but instead we get this. I mean, and no hate towards those bands, but you guys can be in the rock category. There's a whole category right there for you guys.
Yeah.
Metal should be strictly like metal, in my opinion.
So, gatekeeping confirmed?
Well, okay. I'm just saying we're in a realm where metal's absolutely blown up. It can't be ignored. And so if I had to do my nominations for Best Metal Performance, just in the sense of like, if we are thinking on the Grammy stage, so something that's accessible for normal people to hear, I would absolutely put Fit for King right there. Because they do have really accessible metal that still is metal. They still scream. They still have breakdowns. I would put probably Spiritbox, same thing.
Yep.
Very listenable on a mainstream level. And then I would throw Lorna Shore on there just for the virality and how much they absolutely changed the genre.
Oh, absolutely. They did Lollapalooza. That's
right. If they can do Lollapalooza, they can do Grammys.
Exactly. Boom. There's your three.
Yeah, there's the three.
There's the three. That's it.
What's your three?
Shoot. I don't even listen to them, but I put I Prevail on there because I'm guessing they're that good. Bad Omens selling out.
Yeah,
they were the underdogs. Was it last year or 2 years ago? They
had the whole thing with their logo being too small.
Exactly. And look what they are now, selling show every single show out.
Right. And so the next headline is that Spiritbox is actually doing their first headlining tour. And it is so Spiritbox has kind of changed my whole perspective on modern metalcore and just metalcore in general. And they are absolutely killing it. I just hope that they don't go too far away from metalcore. But I wouldn't blame them. I mean, they even got Josh from As I Lay Dying playing for them now. He quit As I Lay Dying to play for Spiritbox.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and straight up, I listened to a podcast with Tim Lambesis on. He was on the Garza podcast, and he said it wasn't that Josh wasn't in As I Lay Dying anymore. Josh literally said to Tim, "Hey, I want to go play for Spiritbox. I'm gonna quit to do that." And so, like that clearly shows the level that Spiritbox is really pushing towards.
He's like straight up, all right, y'all. Like, all right, y'all, I'm out.
Yeah. And, that's awesome. I guess he was in the studio with him and stuff, and he just really was feeling it and got along and everything. And so that just really shows the level they are. So they're going out on their first headliner. And with that being said, people would be like, how have they not done a headliner yet? They did the proper build that you are supposed to do, where you do support tours to build a big audience. So whenever you finally do a headliner, it's big numbers. So you're not out there headlining for no one.
First of all, congratulations to Spiritbox, because previously I Wrestled a Bear once, already having a fan base and transitioning to a different project and taking that project bigger than I Wrestled a Bear once ever could imagine is insane. And that's without TikTok. That's without.
Yeah, they were doing all that before that.
Exactly. So they blew up just from their musical talents alone. So that's awesome. That's what I love.
Definitely. And then also with just talking about, we're in an age now where we actually are having bands that are getting to that level of, like, in the early days of metalcore. I don't want to say early days, but like our early days, like 2010s, of like the Attack size, Asnausierandria size, like bands that are really selling out stuff. We're in a new wave of metalcore, deathcore bands that are actually doing big numbers. I'm assuming Spiritbox whole tour is going to sell out. They're doing big rooms, so maybe there's going to be some that aren't because they have big expectations. But Lorna Shore sold out their entire headliner, and that had Ingested, Angel Maker, like heavy, like top of the line heavy crap, selling out House of Blues and stuff.
Yep, and that's for a deathcore tour to do that, where shout out all the bands where everything kind of sounds the same to sell out is big. What do you think?
It was like the ultimate tour, though. Like if you were a fan of that style, you were like every single one of them bands I like. Yeah. And now whenever you go home, all you're going to hear is freaking double bass in your head for like the next week.
Buzzing, just buzzing.
But, you're just hearing that for the next week. But it was an ultimate tour. Like they could have tried to take out other like modern like hype bands, but they took out classics and people that have a lot of potential, and have shown like how good they are on stage. So Lorna Shore absolutely killing it. And then we talked about Bad Omens as well. They sold out an entire tour beforehand. Now that one blew my mind. Like I knew Lorna Shore's hype. I was unaware of Bad Omens hype.
Oh yeah. They got a song popping on TikTok still.
Really?
It's been popping for like 2 months. Yeah.
But what about so I don't get on TikTok. What part of their song is popping, and what are people doing? Are they just like standing there like singing the chorus? Like what are they doing?
Actually, yes. That's literally it. They'll have, there's this one chorus that they'll play that the chorus is so interchangeable, you can put it over many different styles of videos, and that's exactly what people are doing. Yeah, it's that type of chorus.
And we're seeing stuff like that, like bands having crazy success on TikTok, becoming just such like it is actually translating to real turnouts. They sold out an entire tour. Now they have Dayseeker on that tour, and Dayseeker ain't nothing to joke with nowadays either. But also, I mean, Plotting You, they had a crazy song pop off. They have a Plotting You has a song on Spotify with 135 million streams. They're at 2 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Applauding you.
Yeah.
And they're out killing it right now, too. They're not selling out their tour necessarily, but they're still 500, 600, 700 people at the show. That is insane for metalcore. So we are absolutely in the new wave. Spiritbox is one of the top bands. They're going out on their first headliner, full US and Canada. They're from Canada, so I'm assuming they're doing a lot. Lorna Shore out killing it. Bad Omens out killing it. Plotting You out killing it. We are absolutely witnessing a new age of legendary bands being formed currently.
Everyone's eating.
Everyone's eating.
Love it.
Yeah. And going into our next headline, I'm pretty sure that Silent Planet is actually on that Bad Omens tour. I'm pretty sure they are. And Silent Planet just happened to flip their van a couple days ago. And that's like every band's worst nightmare. Literally every night you're going to sleep in this van and you're like, well, this could be it, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going to lay my head down and then I'm going to hear those buzz strips, whoever's driving every couple hours, and just hope to God that this isn't the last night. But they did have the unfortunate situation of actually flipping the van. And just based off of Garrett's tweets, it seemed like they were already pretty tired. They're out grinding on this tour. And then they were also driving I think it was from Denver to like Wyoming. Now that is where the majority of stuff like this happens. It sucks that bands, like, not forcibly, but that this sort of route even gets planned in the first place. They have an overnight drive. They don't even give them a day between the drive on that. And this time of the year, you can pretty much assume up in Wyoming, in that area, it's going to be snowing. Colorado, Wyoming, it's going to snow because you're driving through the mountains as well. And so it just sucks that bands seemingly have to go through that. I refuse to tour in that area in this time of the year, but thankfully no one was really hurt. I think Garrett was the only one that had to actually go to the hospital. And so, somehow bands really do come out on top usually in these things. I don't know how it doesn't end up more horrific, and thankfully it doesn't, but they had a ton of support from their fans though.
It was able to place everything plus more. So that's great. The metal community really does come together when bands need them. That I can say without a doubt.
I think it was like $70,000 or $80,000 in less than 24 hours. They shut down their thing because they were just trying to get the money to get back out on tour, and they got it. And so I'm really thankful that no one was hurt. Really thankful that the metal community does come together. And when the Browning got robbed in Italy, we raised $10,000 in like 8 hours to replace our stuff. Like, people do back these bands like wholeheartedly, and the whole community, even people that aren't fans of Silent Planet, go on there and donate. So it's really good to see. And that's one thing that we can all appreciate about metal. And Silent Planet is another one of those bands that at any moment could be selling out shows. Like, they are a great band, and they've always had that much potential.
They long overdue for it because they've been grinding for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how it is, though. I mean, even Lorna Shore's been absolute grinders. They opened for the Browning years ago. Dayseeker opened for the Browning years ago. So it's good to see these people really, really out there killing it. And thankfully, Silent Planet is good to go, and they're already back playing shows. I think they only had to miss one show from it, so crazy. But yeah. And so let's get on to talking about some festival news.
If you haven't been living under a rock, When We Were Young Fest was a couple of weeks ago. I forgot which date it was. Day one, it got canceled. The first day it got canceled. It was wind advisory. It was a dust storm. It was not the festival's fault, but of course, the scene was like, oh my God, they're canceling it. I drove half across the earth to come see this. It's like it was like a state thing. It was like it was kind of like a state emergency. So they really could not put on the fest, but everybody was throwing a fit. I caught a couple of strays. They was like, it's kind of like that Fire Fest of Kentucky, and I'm like, whoa, it's not even close, So that whole thing. But the rest of the days went on. Sunday?
I will say I would absolutely be freaking raging, dude, because like I know it's out of their control, but at the same time, like have it in a spot where that can't be an issue. Like if you're having 50, 60,000 people come to something, put it in a place where it's absolutely secure, because then it was 40-mile-per-hour wind is what they shut it down for.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Like 40-mile-per-hour wind?
Hey, and I guess it was dusty.
They got some dusty wind up in there.
But it's Vegas, baby. It's Vegas, you know. Like
but there had to be another venue to be able to house it. Like, and I mean, maybe not because it was so big, but there are people that spend thousands and thousands. You're talking multiples of thousands of dollars. I mean, just on the hotel rooms, you're talking $1,000 for the weekend. If there's 2 people flying in, you're talking at least $600 to $1,000 on flights, and then food while they're there. And because they're also sitting there just waiting too, they're wasting their time, they're wasting their money. They took off work, so they're missing work money too. Like you're talking easily, like tens of thousands of people that are losing multiples of thousands of dollars because you didn't put it in a venue that could get shut down by freaking 40-mile-per-hour wind.
All right, I'm gonna play devil's advocate because I love doing that. Right. So back in May, Rockville, I live in Florida. The wrath of God came down.
Yes.
And literally tore up the place because it was lightning so bad. And that's where they usually have Rockville. So I know this is the first time When We Were Young Fest is going on. I'm pretty sure they're going to want to put it on probably like a yearly thing, like these other big festivals. So in that case where I showed up at like 12, by 2, everything got shut down for the rest of the day. Like, and then I believe.
But again, let me play devil's advocate on that because what time of the year did they have that in Florida?
May.
And how often does it rain in Florida in May?
So Florida is really bipolar. It's okay. I just understandable.
So if you're around Orlando, I lived in Orlando for a little bit. It would rain like 6 times a day.
That's true. Yep.
So you're in May in the spring in Florida. How are you going to set it up in a time and a place that you know for a fact that you have like a pretty high percentage of chance of this happening?
I don't know what Vegas is like, but I'm pretty sure the Vegas natives they probably already knew. It's like, hey, why they put it on this time of year?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the Florida thing too. It's like they could have done it somewhere else. Like if you're putting on something that huge, I understand wanting to do it in a region that maybe you're from or whatever, but you also have to know the region. You have to know when and where you can do it. I feel like they should care more about the fan experience and the risk of those people losing $1,000 because they're like, don't worry, you'll get refunds. And they're like, no, I won't. Like the tickets cost me $200. My flights and hotels cost me $3,000.
You're right.
They're not getting a refund.
I stand corrected. Corrected. You're right. I didn't think about it with the flights and the hotel, even though, I stand corrected.
It's just rough. They got to pay more attention to that. And so, and one more quick thing about When We Were Young, because we got to get moving on this. I hated looking at that lineup and seeing that there was like 4 bands playing at the same time as My Chemical Romance.
Oh yeah, it's bad. That's bad. That's
really bad. And maybe the bands were irrelevant to the My Chemical Romance sound, but even if I was like a metalhead and there's a metal band playing, I'm still going to watch My Chemical Romance.
Imagine getting shut out by an emo band.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just they shouldn't have done that. That when your headliner is playing, don't put anyone else on any stage.
Yeah.
So again, organization, they don't care about the fan experience. They care about money. And so let's move into the next one, because this next festival is big time news, like big news. And that is the Sick New World Fest.
It's Sick New World. So hear this, y'all. They got Korn, they got Deftones, System of a Down, Incubus, Evanescence. So they have a lot of new metal bands, right?
New metal.
New. What do you say?
NU.
NU. And
Yeah,
have I been saying new metal wrong?
No, I'm spelling it for the people that.
Oh, I got you.
You know.
So in the title is Sick New. They spelled it exactly how you would want to spell it. LEW instead of LUY. Missed opportunity. They're gonna miss a lot of sales for that.
They really are. If it was Sick New World, well, maybe they didn't name it that because Limp Bizkit's not playing.
That's another thing. Why isn't Limp Bizkit not playing? Why isn't Limp Bizkit not headlining this?
Well, no, that's not even close. No one can headline over System of a Down.
Okay, co-headline.
Who's co-headlining with them? No.
Limp Bizkit?
No, the only band that could co-headline with System of a Down is Rammstein and Metallica. No other band can co-headline with them.
All right, now hear me out. Listen. Chocolate Starfish. Listen.
No,
Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit's one of my favorite bands of all time. You don't want to get me starting to pull out my chainsaw and show you what I know. All right? You don't want me to pull out those guns. I love Limp Bizkit. I will say, though, System of a Down is probably all-time best band. Just creativity and what they did. I think I had 3 school year pictures in a row wearing the same System of a Down hoodie.
Dang. I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah, straight up. They are absolute legends. And another thing that kind of solidifies them as legends. When was the last time they put out new music? 12 years ago? Maybe more?
Oh, no. They actually did it a year ago. So, but it was
that one don't count.
We don't count those? Oh,
no, that was a fundraiser song.
Oh.
It was a straight up fundraiser.
Yeah, it was. They put out. It was 2 songs, two fundraiser songs. We don't count those. But yeah, 12 years ago.
Yeah, forever ago. They haven't put out any music, and they're like, you know what? We don't need to put out new music. We're just gonna play the stuff that everyone wants to hear. That's how legendary that band is. But that lineup is crazy. It is absolutely every person that grew up in the '90s dream concert.
Oh yeah.
I really hope that where's it located? It's in Vegas as well.
Of course.
Yeah. So hopefully they put up some, I don't know, some wind blocks.
Windshields.
Windshields. Give everyone a big face mask thing so they can withstand the dust storm. But I just hope that nothing goes wrong. But just with how it has been, every single one of these festivals have issues. And I do not want to see, at your show, the Welcome to Rockville, Guns N' Roses got canceled. No one cares about that. I do not want to see System of a Down get canceled.
So nobody cares about guns. Listen, you don't want to see old Slash come up with his cane, walking up, hitting the same "Welcome to the Jungle."
No, I don't. But yeah, so Sick New World's going to be really cool. I hope that it's organized properly, and it'll be a lot of fun. I'm definitely not going to even attempt to go.
Nope.
But I'll definitely watch some videos.
That's too many people for me. But hey, yeah. Sick New World, if you are listening to this, hey yo, if you want your boy to host, hit your boy up.
Hey, if we can get there and do some interviews,
that's it. Come on, you feel me?
Hey, maybe we are gonna go. Shoot,
right? I'll make an exception.
There we go. Perfect. Yeah. As a first official episode of Distortion Report. We're going to figure out the format, the timing. This went on a little bit longer than I kind of expected it to.
Yep.
But, when me and KEEM get to talking, hey, we cut it up.
Okay. So we be cutting up.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
You got to keep me in line.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, and so appreciate everyone being here, watching Distortion Report. Make sure you leave a follow on whatever platform you're currently listening on. Give your boy Hardcore KEEM a follow on Instagram. Me, Johnny McBee on Instagram. Links are all in the description. And we'll see you in the next episode. The plan is every single Monday morning, you will have a new slew of weekly heavy music news waiting for you. So make sure you give it a follow, YouTube and Spotify. And we'll see you in the next one.
See ya. Peace.
Peace.